Buenos dias. Oh boy, we got a busy day. It's definitely not 360. Good morning. Buenos dias. Getting my spices out. I still got Scotch bonnet peppers. See what else I need. I have some left over here and half of a jalapeno. And get the rice out. I keep the rice in the fridge now because of these little boogers. Now today we have a busy day, so we have to get cracking. Garlic. Yes. 1 carrot. Hola. I have some beets that I had left over in the fridge, and I had forgotten about them. So I put them in a little bit of foil and put a little oil, salt and pepper, and put it in the oven on high. I got the sweet plantains here, avocados here, I have some stock. Okay, 1 onion. Yes. Got some onions here. Okay. So right now what I need to do is to get the chicken going. So as you know, we're making rice and peas. Good morning, Lynette. Rice and peas, and you know, I have this and it doesn't ever go all the way. My knife. I got Michelle on, but it doesn't ever follow the way I want it. So, buenas. I'm going to turn it off. All right. So, I could have marinated the chicken last night, but I wanted you guys to see how I marinate my chicken. And you know, if I let it marinate for like 10 minutes, it'll be good. So let's just watch it. Good morning. Hey. All right, I think I need to get the other AC on. Hang on. So we're making rice and peas. We're making chicken with a little gravy. So we're going all Caribbean today. How are you guys doing? So I went to the San Felipe meat market. That's the only place that I trust to buy chicken. You know, it's not something that I use a lot these days, but this is, it's fresher over there because, you know, it's generally healthy. You know, when you go there, you see the meat is fresh. So I don't buy from anywhere. All right, so this, you know, the wings, and I usually always use a winglet. That's how I was raised. So they also cut it for me. When you buy it, you say picado. When you say picado like this, they'll know you mean you want them to cut the chicken for you. And they're very kind. They'll do it. And I'm usually very grateful for that. Now, when I'm cooking chicken, this is not the time when I'm making this recipe to take the skin off because there is flavor in the skin. Oh, look at that. No, I gotta cut this one. This is the daddy of a of a chicken breast. And sometimes when you go, they can also do it for you. They'll have like chicken breast by itself. So if I don't have a big, what do we call that? Something I forgot what I used to call that. So I use a little cast iron, and that will cut it for me. You know, you do what you gotta do. You know how we are women. We are inventive, and we're smart. So I take all the fat that I can out. So I am making soup on Friday. I'm having an event here at my house. So I'll have to buy some chicken. And when you buy it, this was like $7. And then you get, look at the size of the breast. You get a nice sized chicken. So if you're cooking for yourself, you're gonna have food for a few days, right? So, and when I was growing up also, they made us take this little thing out, which to this day, I don't know what that means, what that does. But we always had to take this out. I don't even see it here. I'm not gonna worry about it. So you cannot, right? Picado, picado. Yep. You know, I had to steal, I don't even remember what we call those. I'm having trouble remembering names of things. But we used to use it to kind of cut the meat. And then here, you always take this part out. This is like the spine that is connected to the thigh, right? And anything that looks somewhat weird, you take off. We used to also take that vein out. I don't even see it now. Not that I worry about it. I'm gonna take that off. Right? The next wing. So we just cut the winglet off. Then we're gonna use vinegar and lime juice, clean the chicken real good. And then good morning, Greta. Bella Luroxy. Okay. I need a little black skillet like that one. Yeah, this one, somebody came from the state and brought me a set of cast iron. I have a big mama cast iron and I needed like smaller sizes. So she brought me a set and it was like medium, so like 3 different sizes. So I was very appreciative of her for doing that. These are the legs, drumsticks, the neck. The neck, I usually take all the skin off. I don't know why, I just get grossed out with this one. I was telling someone yesterday at the flea market, at the fish market, they had oysters that were out of the shell, and it was a pile. So next time I go, I'm gonna get some of that, and I'm gonna add them to soup, because usually when we buy fish soup here, it will have that. So this is my trash. First, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean my board, okay? Because after you use your board for anything chicken related, I'm talking hot water, soap. All right? Very important, because that's how you get cross contamination. All right. Clean hands, clean board. Very important. All right. I've already cooked the beans. I had the beans soaking overnight. And this morning I woke up. I didn't go walking this morning. Yesterday was a busy day. And I was tired. And you listen to your body. And I'm good at doing that. So I already have my my beans cooked. And you don't want the beans to be overcooked when you're cooking rice. That was my job as a child, to clean up the chicken, take off the skin and simple part, etc. Then wash it, put some lemon juice on it. My mom was a nurse. I had to wash all my utensils. Yes, soap and water. Okay, so over here in Panama, we use a lot of sour orange, but for some reason I just don't like those. So when I'm cleaning my chicken, I always put some vinegar, and then we cut some of that lime or lemon. And as I told you, lemons are a bit hard to find here. It depends on which store you go to. And even then, you may not find lemon, yellow lemon. Yeah, because we are in the Americas. You kind of have to know what's available to you, right? All right, so we squeeze. And then I'm gonna have, we shock it with hot water. That's how I was raised. So I have no reason not to do that. It kind of gets some of the grime off. So you just really cleanse your chicken. And then we're gonna spice it up and season. Oh, that's the key to having really good tasting chicken. I remember when I was in school, the chefs would say, oh, you don't need to clean the chicken. Oh, let me turn that. I'm making stock for the rice. So I had some leftover from broccoli and stuff, and I put it in there with some bay leaves. I didn't put garlic this time, but you can. So we do that. How are you ladies doing? Remember this afternoon at 4, we're gonna do the live. And my topic is gonna be health insurance in Panama here. But it's something that a lot of people still struggle with. All right, let's go rinse. Turn this on, and I'll be right back. All right, sorry guys. So now we have our chicken that is clean. You know what I was looking for yesterday, and I had a brain freeze. I couldn't think of the name of the thing. You know, when you have a processor, a food processor, every kitchen, you know, if you're serious, you have one of those. But I had one that I sold before I, came over. And I'm like, I'm trying to resist not having, buying another one, but it's hard. Ladies, please don't forget. Thank you, Ma'am Thomas. Yeah, because there are so many things you can do, especially when you make hummus. I made hummus, but I used my Ninja blender, and it came out okay. So there is something that we use when we're cooking chicken. We make a piece. A piece is like a base spice blend that you make that is guaranteed to up the flavor of whatever you're cooking, right? But at home, when I was growing up, we had pilon. Pilon is the mortar and pestle. So you would have one like this, and you would put like the green onions, lots of garlic. You would put the parsley, sometimes habanero peppers. But I didn't bring any of my pilon. We call it pilon. But what I'm thinking might be an alternative is to buy a small food processor. And I have seen them here. I just need to find one. I didn't get a chance to do that. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a lot of garlic and onions and stuff like that, and mix it and create that flavor profile that we want. Lots of acid, hot peppers. Oh, I'm giving the food to my friend today, so they may not be really into heat, so I gotta watch that. So we're gonna build flavor, don't you worry. Now, if you're cooking chicken, it's always best to season and let marinate overnight, okay? Whether you're doing a roast, if you're doing a roast, you're putting all that spice under the skin and you put it inside the cavity with some, I'm gonna make a roast one day so you could see it. And so whatever chicken you're cooking, except like chicken breast doesn't need a lot of pre-seasoning, so I have hot water, and we're gonna shark this. Okay? I know you're probably saying, why does she have to do that? Well, that's the way my mom taught me. Okay? And the old people knew something, so I don't have any reason not to believe her and not to continue what she taught me because it works. Okay, now I'm gonna dump it and then season. So that's another layer of taking off the grind, right? All right, so now, this is the seasoning process. We're gonna put a little bit of oil. This is sunflower oil, but you can use coconut or olive oil. Salt and pepper. I like lots of pepper. Don't buy all the powder. Don't do that to me. Grind your pepper, okay? Plus you work in your arms. That's good for you. Now I'm gonna watch the salt for now. I'm gonna put a little bit of dark soy. Okay? And remember, soy has some salt, so you gotta be careful. The adobo has salt, so I have to be mindful. Generous portion of the adobo. Paprika. Now remember, I'm not gonna be able to taste this because it's raw chicken. No bueno. Herbe de Provence. You know I'm crazy about that now. It's a beautiful blend of herbs. I have dry sage. Sage goes well with meat. That's why you put it in your sausage and the turkey. What else did I put it in last time? When I made not cornbread, the dressing for my sister Monica. Fresh sage. I still have some fresh sage. I'm going to put some in there. And cumin. I love cumin. All right. Take time to season your chicken. You're going to be very happy with the results. This is oregano. Oregano is good with anything. Love, love oregano. Okay. Now, for the fresh stuff, lots of garlic. And not garlic from a jar. It doesn't taste the same. Trust me. All right? So don't think that, oh, I have garlic from the jar. Even if you see the whole clove of garlic in a jar, it's been pre-packaged. Well, I should, sis. I'm 68. I've been cooking my whole life. And I went to culinary school. So when I went to culinary school, it wasn't that I didn't know certain things, but it kind of validated some of the things that I was doing before. And I'm like, oh, that's why we do it. And what it does too, it lets you know how to mix things, how to enhance flavor. And that's why I don't use artificial, bouillon, better than bouillon, Maggi cubes. I don't use any of that. Because if you know, and when I was in school, we didn't use any of that stuff either. So the chef will say, if you have to use those things, you don't belong here. And I'm like, yeah, tell him, chef. But years and years ago, when I was a young mom, because my culture, they use a lot of accent, which is MSG. And oh my God. And now that I know that it can cause cancer, and I'm like, what were we doing? But now that we know better, we should do better, right? Ignorance is not bliss. If you don't know something, it's one thing. But if you know and you continue doing it, well, can't help you. You're hopeless. All right, a little bit more. More garlic. Mas ajo. We were at the tea the other day, like yesterday, and we were saying, it's time for our lobster tail adventure. Colas de langosta. That's what they call lobster tails. And we go there and they make a wonderful, they get the fresh lobster and then they cook it for us in garlic and butter. Oh, so yummy. So we're gonna have, I told them, I said the first week in February, we're gonna do that. And it's gonna become like a monthly event for our SWRA sisters, because we're having the sisters in the clusters, getting together, getting closer to each other, which is what I want. We want to get closer to each other so that we can support each other better, right? I would rather take time chopping my garlic than garlic powder. No. Do you know how long that garlic has been in there on the shelf? And what they put in it to conserve it? That's why you don't want to eat that stuff. Okay? All right. So, I use all the garlic. Yum, yum. All right, so now for the herbs. I have a little bit of red pepper flakes. Let me put a little bit of that. And then I do have Scotch bonnet peppers. I have half of one. Hopefully I don't think it's gonna be too hot. So, a little bit of that. I think I'm gonna stop here, but for me, if I was cooking for me, I would have put a little bit more. I'm still gonna put a whole one when I'm building the gravy. But we don't have time to marinate this chicken today, so we're just going to go ahead and get started with it. All right. This is fresh cooked cilantro. You always want that. Remember, I'm making a substitute for the épices. Okay, you say M. Thomas. What is your first name? I don't know where you are in the city. Yes, that lobster thing has become popular. So the more herbs you put in your food, the better it's going to taste, okay? I mean, you don't want to go overboard, right? But cilantro is something that we can tolerate. And if you don't have cilantro where you are, use parsley. That's good too. Parsley is good. You know, you prepare a chicken like this, it can't help but be flavorful, right? Hopefully, if you're watching me, you're not one of those cooks that just do salt and pepper after it's cooked and putting the, ew, no bueno. Fresh thyme. A good cook always has fresh thyme. And then you just get it off the thing. Fresh thyme. You know, it's amazing sometimes when you're trying to cook something and you're like, oh, the taste is still not. And you just cut a little bit of thyme and some lime juice. Bingo. Just think. Lime, thyme. Like a Scotch bonnet pepper, if you're making a soup or a curry or a stew, just throw a whole habanero pepper, Scotch bonnet pepper, whole. Cut it up because the heat is in the seed. But if you are looking to build flavor, just throw a whole one in there. And then it's gonna be just like a bouquet garni that we're gonna do when we do our rice. And all right, so we have fresh thyme, rosemary. So much being said about rosemary these days, that it's such a good herb, good for your hair, makes your hair grow. What did this lady say the other day? That it cuts down a certain type of fat. And I've been using rosemary forever. We make tea out of it. Remember when you were growing up, if you grew up like somewhere outside the US, and when you were sick, your grandmama just told you to go out there and pull some herbs brew it, and there you go. We had an herb when I was growing up. I had terrible menstrual cramp. And that's what they used to do. I used to have to go home. When that thing hit at that time of the month, I go to the direction, which is the office, and they already knew. They were like, oh, Maggie, it's okay. And I'd have to go home. I'd have to tie my tummy tight with a belt, put some weight on it, like we had the big dictionaries, and then get a tea. And what I found out later, what the tea was doing was busting the clots that were causing my menstrual pain. So I believe in herbs, from the yard. And you know that most of your meds are made from that, right? Okay. I have a little bit of fresh sage left from, was it Thanksgiving or New Year? It's still going strong. So I got a little bit. Look at that. Look how good it still looks. Mm-hmm. We're going to put a little bit of that in there. Just don't overdo it, okay? So now I'm thinking, so the next thing I need here is acid. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt because I don't think I have enough in there. But then once the chicken starts cooking and it's safe to taste, then I'll taste and see if there is anything else I need to add. Okay, so now I need acid. And for the acid, sometimes I'll put a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar is good for your inside too. Did you know that? That's why you can put it in, it cleans anything in your house. But what I need most is fresh lime juice. And this is a whole chicken. It probably can handle maybe 2 of these little things. And I know they have these pressers. I don't do well with those. I'm still able to use my hands, and I give God thanks for that. So you're not here in Panama, M. Thomas. But I told you about MSG. I was using that complete seasoning until my daughter said, Mom, do you realize this thing has MSG? Monosodium glutamate. And I was like, oh no. And in the trash it went. It had all my spices for sure, but they had to add that to it. And I'm like, no, no bueno. Why do they put that junk in the food? And they know it's bad for you. That's the thing. They know it's bad, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to put it in the food. All right, so I'm going to put one more. You roll the lime to loosen the juice. Do the same thing for lemon. These are a little tight because they're green. But if they start looking a little bit yellow, they're a lot easier to manage. Ugh. Whew. Doing my exercises for my wrist. All right, so we're good here. So I think I have everything. We have garlic, we have all the herbs. Very good. Gonna put a little salt, not too much. Okay? And then we go to work. People using gloves. Are you afraid of the meat? I don't know. You do use this. You wanna wear gloves? But what grosses me out though, those people on social media with fake nails this long, touching their food, and I'm like, oh no, you don't have to cook for me, sis. The fake nails is the same thing as when you're a nurse, and then they're like, I am not cutting my nails. Well, when I was in nursing school and in culinary school, I wasn't allowed to have nails on. Nope. Well, mine really need to be cut right now. Because even on the on the computer, it starts feeling a little weird when you have long nails. And I see the claws, and they're working on the computer. I'm like, how do you do that? All right. All right, I wash my hands because I touched the chicken. So now, as I said, we don't have time, but what you should do if you're doing this at home, saran wrap it and put it in the fridge overnight. That's where you get the best. Oh, you here now, Miss Thomas? Wonderful. The gloves keep the bacteria now down. As a nurse, I can tell you, I don't believe that. In the kitchen, you don't want to cross-contaminate anything, but I like using now the only time we wear gloves in culinary is if you're touching food that is ready to eat. That's the only time you need to wear gloves. Ready to eat food, RTE, like your salad, your lettuce, your tomatoes. In a commercial kitchen, yes. And that's why you wash things to make sure you don't cross-contaminate. After that, you're okay. But you want to wear gloves, sis? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. All right, I'm also going to use, I have a little cabbage here that is looking kind of pitiful. So I'm going to cook it. Finish with that. And then we have the plantains and then the rice. The rice, I'm going to kind of time it with chicken. When the chicken is like halfway done, we're going to cook the rice. And I have avocado. Let's see. I've had these tomatoes in here for a while. I don't know if they're still good. They're still looking good. Yep, got tomatoes. I don't have lettuce, and I don't know if I told you that. I'm not a fan of lettuce. I'd rather eat broccoli, spinach. I think it's just a wasted food. But sometimes if you're doing like some boats or some wraps, yeah, there is a place for lettuce in my book. And we all have our likes and dislikes. We're not criticizing anybody, right? You like something, use it. I like something, I use it. We're fine. We do each other and we relax. Let people live their life and do what they want, right? Now this little Dutch oven, it really, the heat distributes really well. But you also have to watch it because it tends to want to burn at the bottom. I don't like that about it. That's what I like to cook my aluminum pan, especially, yes, when I cook chicken in it, it comes out really good, not just the rice. All right, so now what we're gonna put in here before we put the chicken in is we're gonna chop some onions, right? Oh, this onion is trying to go bad on me. Yeah, for the glove comments, hand washing is much better. So much better. And hand washing with soap and water and warm water, right? That's why I like to tell my nurses, you know, they're like, well, we have hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer does not replace good hand washing. Never. You have the hand sanitizer, like when I did home health, yeah, we had hand sanitizer, but it was like, ooh, it's already, see, it's already smoking. And it was just, you know, in between until you get to where you can use soap. It wasn't a replacement for soap and water, never. Smoking already. Wow. Don't be shy with onions either. I love onions. Okay. Calmate. No pasa nada, cálmate. Let the onion release its flavor, and they do that when they soften up, just like garlic. You don't want to burn it. You want it to soften up, become translucent, like we say. But yeah, the Dutch oven is just heats up really fast. So now we're gonna throw our chicken in. And I try to put the bigger pieces down at the bottom. Ooh, that's a mega thigh. Chicken thighs are so good, and we use it for so many things. The goal here is to let the chicken brown a little bit at the bottom. Now, brown stew chicken, from the recipe that I've seen, they fry the chicken and then make the sauce, I think. We don't do it like that. And you know I don't fry anything, so. Alright. So we're gonna let this here, and then I'm gonna get started with the cabbage. Washing and washing. Clean hands. Best way to protect yourself in the kitchen. Okay? Alright. So, let us okay. Maybe I'll cook the cabbage in this little pan because I've decided I'm going to use my regular pot for the rice. I'm going to use this for the rice, my aluminum pan. And maybe I'll use the other one instead. I'll use another pot. Now see, that tells you I already have lots of pots and pans. So I'm going to use this one because it's shallow, it cooks real fast, and that's going to be good for the cabbage. Cabbage, I have one. Ooh, that's a big carrot, but we're gonna do the cabbage and carrots. I don't have any peppers. I didn't go to the store this week, so I'm still going off of. I went to the meat market, but you know carrots are good for you, and like I said, I can just eat the carrot raw. So. I'm always happy when I cook. Always. we were teaching our students the difference between me gusta y me encanta. Now I have to watch the bottom of this pan. Like I said, I don't want my chicken to have burnt mark. So I'm moving it around. And so, let's see. Alright. We're going to put what we're going to put in the, with the cabbage. And we're going to rinse them out, of course. Okay? Once I get to this part, I just cut it in half. And then go half. And so. And. Right? And sometimes we do julienne, but not today. Julienne are the little strips. Ooh, that's a lot. I think I'm just gonna eat this one. Alright. With the cabbage. And I needed to use this cabbage because it was starting to look puny. And did I tell you that they peel off all the green off the cabbage? They did the same thing in South Africa. I'm so mad. Like, no, the green is good. And they give the best part to the pigs. And usually with your cabbage, you just want to shred it like that. Now I'm going to cook the whole thing because then that's good for me to have around the house. Now I'm going to be making a cooking class. I'm going to be teaching a cooking class for my sisters. So these are the things that we're going to be making, things that they can cook and have around the house as leftovers, right? Because who wants to cook every day? I don't. All right. So we're going to cook that. So we have our pan back here. Rinse. And of course, with your cabbage, you don't need to put any water in it, right? It's gonna sweat. Oh, okay. We want all the liquid to sweat out of this. All right. So now we're going to start in the back. We're going to start with onions and garlic. The onion is not fresh, so I got to watch it so I don't cut myself while I'm cutting it. It already looked like it was getting a little browny, but we're going to use it. So now we're going to chop. Some olive oil. I love olive oil. I love it when I get these people to say, well, I did this and I didn't put one drop of oil. And it's so proud. I'm like, you go, sis. I know I need a little bit of fat in my body. And I don't need to get my fat all from nuts and stuff. You know what I keep telling you, ladies? Do everything in moderation. Don't go crazy one side to the other. No bueno. You need a little bit of fat. You need some salt. So you can't eliminate everything. Then you're causing imbalance somewhere else. Your body's not designed to work like that. There's something we call homeostasis. That means imbalance, right? All right, here we go. This is gonna go back here for the cabbage and carrots, things that cook so fast. We're gonna put the carrots in a little bit earlier because they might take a little bit longer. Then we gotta prepare for garlic. You know, I have to always turn this thing on and turn it back on again. I think I need to subscribe to like a music, what do you call them, platform, where you can play music that is not copyrighted, so that when I'm cooking, I'm able to, is it SoundCloud, one of these places? Because otherwise, I like to listen to music when I'm cooking. It's good for you. Now, if I had a pilon, which is the mortar and pestle, you can do the garlic in there. But you know, the clove would be popping up. I'm like, oh, that's just too much. I even had a couple of sisters bring me garlic pressers, as I said, and they don't work as well. So I am back to just chopping my garlic. I don't mind really. I think it's good. It's a good workout for my arms. That's how I look at it. You know, like when I'm carrying my food in my backpack, to me that's it's a workout. Getting a little bit more challenging, but depending on how much I carry. Like yesterday was a doozy. I overdid it. I know I did. So, watching the news, this ICU nurse who got killed. Listen, y'all, it's getting serious. Was he 35 years old? He was in Minneapolis. Maybe he was trying to defend someone. Oh my God. 35. Oh my Lord Jesus, help us. Let's get the carrot. Oh, that mixed now, so. It doesn't matter because it's at the bottom of the pan. So we're just gonna put everything in. And what I do, I just cover it up, let everything soften up, and then season. And it will take no time. And for this one, I like to use my tongue. Make some mash. All right, lower the heat and let everything soften up. Okay. So. Still got liquid in here. So now I think I can taste the thing to see if it needs anything else. Sorry, that is supposed to say cabbage, not garbage. That's okay. They remove them for me, wherever I get them. You know, I don't think I've got cabbage. I think I've got cabbage at America. All right, so we're tasting to see if we need to kind of do anything to the taste. It's pretty good. It might need a little salt, but I'm not gonna put it in now. I'm gonna wait until at the gravy part. But what I need to do, I need all that liquid to kind of evaporate or to cook down. But it's getting there, so I think now it's time for me to start the rice, because I want everything to kind of be done around the same time. All right, we're gonna go here. This is my stock. See? All right. You know what? Because I'm using this burner, I'm going to use another pan because this pan is so heavy. I would have to use it in the largest burner, but that's the one I'm using for the, okay. This is one of them. So I'm going to drain my, my stock. So I'll use this pot for the rice. Strain it. Alrighty. Ooh, I put it in that glass. I shouldn't have. Alright. Some more onions. Remember, you always use onion and garlic as your base for whatever you're cooking. And it gives you that, it starts that flavor profile. Ooh. Yes. Ooh. I hurried and took that hot stock. I had put it in a glass jar, and it's like, oh, no bueno. I do have some coconut milk today, so that's a good. Ooh. All right. All right. Leche de coco. So, ooh, I have a red onion, but that's okay. It will do. So when you're ready to cook rice, if you have any flavored oil, let's say when I made, when I did the tuna, when I poached the tuna and it had all that wonderfully good flavor, 37, yeah. I'm telling you guys, it's becoming a lot harder to stay hopeful. This crazy world. Innocent people. Yesterday they showed in a post how many people have died in custody. It is piling up. Oh mon Dieu, help us. I prefer a white onion, but I have the red. Of course I'm gonna use it, right? All right, let me get my garlic ready. You see how much garlic I use? All right, my chicken is looking good. And the chicken, I'm telling you, is basically ready. It's been cooking here. So it is getting there. Keeping an eye on it. I don't want anything to burn. Oh, that's my my beets. But I think I'm gonna put it in for a little bit longer. Because when I roast beets, it takes a little while. Okay? Bring this down a bit. So I put my garlic. You never have too much garlic. In my book, you don't. Oh, and I'll need some of that onion for the chicken. Okay. But I have no peppers today, so nothing to put in the chicken to make it pretty looking. But I have the cabbage and tomatoes, so it's going to be nice and colorful. Have no fear. Somebody wanted to see my version of how I make my rice. So this is what you will be looking at. So you know, when you cook for somebody, it's an act of love, right? Because, especially the way I cook, you know, you put your heart and soul in it and time. So, but the satisfaction is for me, not for them. All right. How much garlic have I chopped today? A lot, right? All right. But if you have a good garlic presser, it definitely will cut down on your time. All right. So, once you do that, that's when I start putting my beans in, which is, we're going to see that this is a different way from the way Caribbeans cook their rice and peas. We don't cook our rice and peas like they do. We toast our peas, we season, and then we add our rice. Now that part is a little different from what I was raised. When I was raised, you put the rice after you put the liquid in. But when I went to school, they say when you toast the rice, it's better. See, I had garlic in this, so I've been doing it like that. And then we're going to use the same water that we cooked the rice in, of course. Flavor. I'm keeping an eye on the chicken. Boy, that chicken had a lot of juice, I will tell you. All right. That was the garlic that cooked with it. All right, so the chicken. The chicken is cooked. So now, I don't want it to overcook. When the chicken is here like that, now I'm throwing 1 scotch bonnet pepper in here. I'm gonna make a bouquet garni. Which is the string where you're adding bay leaves, cilantro, thyme, and then you wrap them together and you throw it in there so that when your sauce is there, you're getting maximum flavor. Thyme. A big Yep, that's that. And now I'm not putting rosemary. Rosemary, that was enough. Because rosemary is very strong, so you don't want to overpower the dish with the flavor. Everything in moderation. Okay. So now we got this. We just wrap. All right. Gonna throw that in here. I'm gonna put a little bit of tomato paste. And this is how they come here in Panama. Pasta de tomate, tomato paste. I mean, I've seen the little can too, but don't be looking for hunts and stuff like that. Okay? All right. Gently move it around. So now if I want to build a little gravy, I'm going to put a little bit of my veggie stock. I don't ever make chicken stock because, you know, I feel like if I do vegetable stock, then I'm safe. Whatever I'm cooking, I can use it without thinking. I'm smelling the thyme. Nice. All right. A little bit of this. I don't like a lot of gravy, so I'm just gonna put a little bit. All right. Let it cook, and then don't forget our rice here. All right, the peas are nice and toasty. Yay! Now we season. Now this is where people would start putting their little bouillon thing, and then that's when I click off. And I'm like, okay, if you have to do that to season your food, I don't need to be watching you. I'm sorry. It may sound cocky, but I don't believe that you have to put better than bouillon. I need to do a bouquet garni for this too. Paprika, salt, pepper. No, I usually put cumin in this. Very good. We're gonna throw that scotch bonnet pepper in. I'm gonna turn the heat down a bit on while I make the bouquet garni. Cilantro, bay leaves, and thyme. That's it. Okay. And then we're gonna throw that in there. All right. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that stock in here just for a minute because I need to wash the rice. So this is about a cup and a half, or maybe 2 cups. I wasn't counting. Who's counting? We don't measure. We don't measure. All right, heat up and mix the rice. So we're gonna let the rice toast a little bit with the beans. And then the first thing I'm gonna add is the coconut milk. I'm scraping the bottom because that's where a lot of the flavor is. And I don't want anything to burn. So let it toast a little bit, and then we add the coconut milk, and then the bean water. I don't even need the stock because I don't like my rice to be pasty. And usually when you cook rice, it's 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts water or liquid to 1 part of the grain. But sometimes I use less. Now, jasmine rice, I would use a little bit less. Okay? Alright. Back to the chicken. Now, this is not going to look like jerk chicken. You know, jerk chicken is nice and it's got that brown color. Maybe I need a little bit more tomato paste. Just need a little bit more color, that's all. So when you're basting with that gravy, you're ensuring that all the flavors are going into the chicken. All right? I think just a little bit more tomato paste. I don't like to use tomato paste a lot, and that's why I don't like to cook chicken like this that much, because I'm not a gravy person. I do not like gravy. Somebody said barbecue. I don't think, it's been a while. Because I think the best barbecue should be on the grill. And I don't have a grill. I'm not planning on getting a grill. And when you use tomato paste, make sure you give it time to cook down so you can get rid of that tomato taste, okay? Don't be in a hurry. Okay, that's better. And then as we finish, we're gonna make sure all our flavors are on point. Keep basting it. Flavor, sabor. Yes. Whew. So now I'm going to throw the little bit of onion that I have left over it, and then we're done. So let's taste to make sure it's right. It's really good. I don't think I need any more salt in it. And I don't think I need acid either. At this point, usually I'm looking to fix it with a little bit of acid. No. Baste. All right, I'm gonna turn this heat down. Now let's go back to our rice. We don't want to burn it. You see it started to cook at the bottom. All right. So, coconut milk. So our chicken is basically done. But let's get the coconut milk. about a little bit less than half the can. So I'm gonna move the rice to the front burner because the chicken is done and we don't need to leave it on there. But we need to move the rice over here. All right. Ooh, it smells good. And when I put the water in, then that's when I'm going to fix my flavor. I'm going to see what it needs, make sure it comes to the flavor that I want, and then let it cook down. We're looking at maybe 10 minutes. All right. This is the water. That is looking good. Nothing on the bottom. Now, we are going to taste. Ooh, I think I almost forgot my my cabbage. Ooh. So I need to season this baby here, but I think it can wait until I'm finished with the rice. Very good. I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid, a little bit of my stock in the cabbage. That's why you need to have stock. All right. Let's taste this rice. See what it might need. All right, so it needs salt, adobo, paprika. Now rice, you never need to put what is it I'm thinking of? Like acid. You don't need to put that in your rice. Oh yeah. Yep. Now, you know, when I was growing up, we would cloves, but we would stick them in the pepper or in there. But when I bit into one, that one time, and that was it. Okay, this is the last time I'm gonna eat this thing. It was awful. All right. I just need a little heat on the meat so I can just throw the rest of my onion in there. I'm not gonna put a lot, just the half that I have. Half of an onion. Because usually what we would put on right now are like peppers, strips of pepper. But I don't have pepper. So we just threw that in there. Yep. And I didn't use any curry powder on this chicken today. But you notice the chicken was just sitting here in the pan. I didn't have to fry it. I didn't have to cover it. And it cooked. Yep. maybe just a little tad of adobo in the sauce. Just a tad. And then we're gonna keep basting again. They say gravy, but I personally don't like gravy. So I purposely didn't have a lot. All right, it's done. Chicken is done. It's missing something, I'm not sure. I don't know. Oregano. Pepper. Curry. No. And this is adobo too. Sin pimienta. Where did I buy this? I think I was looking for the adobo that I'm used to, and I couldn't find it. And it doesn't have MSG. All right, let's try that. And some more pepper. I just need to get it to the taste that I want. Once I get it, I will know. Yeah, that's good. I think once it's done, I'm going to add a little butter, because you see the Jamaican put the butter in there when it's cooking. We just put it at the end. That's why we call it monté au beurre. Okay? All right. Let's check out our cabbage. You know, you see no green in this cabbage. That's a no bueno for me. I need the green. No green. They took it all off. I had 2 crowns of broccoli. When did I use that? I'm trying to remember. I have some okra in the fridge that I bought. So I have to use okra this week. Now this is gonna need some acid for sure. Look at that rice. Make sure that it's not burning at the bottom. So now I'm going to turn the heat down, because the water is all evaporated. The more you let the water evaporate, the better it's going to be for the rice, that it's not going to be mushy, right? But knowing which pan to use is super important. Now this is not my favorite, but we had the issue with the burner. All right. So let's give it a couple of minutes here to really dry up. So I'm putting a little adobo in that cabbage. I already have garlic, and I haven't done any salt. This is paprika. Oh my God, my paprika is gonna take me a long time. Yep, no green in the cabbage. All right, we're gonna taste. I know I'm gonna need to squeeze some acid in it. It's good. It just needs the acid, that's all. And I have a squeeze here. Fresh lemon. And the rice is ready to be covered. And then lower the heat. Some people put foil and stuff on top. I don't. But you can if you want to, sis. Also, when I was in school, the chef would say, you cover it with foil and then put it in the oven. You can do that too. But I was telling the chef, I'm Caribbean. You cannot teach me how to cook rice. No. I got that one. You take your lobster and the rest of it. I've never cooked lobster. When I was in school, they wanted me to take a live lobster and throw it in the hot water. I couldn't do it. I was threatened with failing my class. I said I cannot stick a pointed thing through a live animal. No. No bueno. I couldn't do it. I'm a wuss. I can't hurt animal. I've never killed a chicken, and I'm not gonna try right now. No lo puedo hacerlo. I can't. Ooh, the cabbage looks good. But with this cabbage though, I'm gonna wrap it with a little bit of butter. I will, yes, I will. The rest of the coconut milk I use for my smoothies. You're only keeping up with this delicious food that Maggie's cooking. Yum, yum. That aroma, I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing. But you know, like when we make, I think I'll make, maybe next week I'll make, when we make you could do a bean sauce with pinto beans, we do it with kidney beans and black beans, right? And then you cook it and you put the rice on the side, or you could have this, if you're not a meat eater, and have this cabbage on the side. It's amazing. Or whatever vegetables that you make. We got something we call legume. Legume is when you get some meat chunks, like if you were going to make a stew, and you have some bones in there, and then you put aubergine, eggplant, you put chayote, you put watercress, you put carrots, and what else could we put in there? Spinach. And then you mix all that really good. You mash that eggplant and the chayote, and you put everything in there. And then towards the end, you can add some crab. Listen. That is an amazing dish, but it takes time, you know? Haitian food takes time, but it is so worth it. You know, I belong to a few channels, and they're like, discover Haitian food, because a lot of people are now discovering Haitian food. You know, I see the Asians trying to make it, and they say, oh, we're making soup jumeau, or we're making sauce pois, and I'm like, well, that's a good try. Thanks for trying. But, you know, show respect for people's culture and food. But, oh my God, that legume with a side of white rice. And when I was growing up, we had a rice we called mangugus. That was like a jasmine, but even better, you know, fragrant. And on Sundays, you could also make pea soup. We call it sauce-poire, but you guys call it pea soup with pigeon peas and lima beans and green peas. And then you mash some to get the thick consistency. And of course, the majority, you leave it in there and you put it on the side with the white rice and the legume. I don't know. I don't know. This is some food that at least once in your lifetime you ought to try, because there's nothing quite like it. Nothing. You hear me? And I'm not just saying that. But when you find a woman who can cook that food and put it on your plate, but granted, listen to me, they use a lot of accent and stuff. So that could be the reason. But I mean, I don't want to do it because it takes so much time, and then I don't eat like that anymore. You know, I can eat my shayote, I put it in my ratatouille and stuff like that. You know, like a healthier version. Because when I was growing up, this rice that I just cooked, we would have put some pork fat in it when you were cooking that spice. My grandma used to make something that looked like a chorizo, but it was like parts of the pig, pork meat with the fat and everything, and then they seasoned it real good and they put it in the casing, and then you would buy like slices of it, and then when you're getting ready to cook that rice, they didn't use onions like I do, but they would use the eight-piece mix that I talked about earlier, and you throw some of that pork that they would call chorizo in there. My goodness, the smell, and now I know that wasn't the best thing, that wasn't the healthiest thing, but like I said, once in a while you should try it. This should not be somebody's, you know, regular eating. No, you can't do that. But I still have some gravy on here, so that's good. I just put a little bit of butter. Let's turn everything off here. So we're good. The rice is, listen, we can just getting ready for our plate. Oh my gosh, my gosh, my gosh. The plantain. I forgot the plantain. I'm just gonna do one so that you guys can see you had it, but oh my God, I forgot. One plantain. Now, you know I love plantain, so I bought 3. The rest is for me. Oh, why is this still cooking? We're done, sweetheart. The cabbage is done. All right, so the rice is like 5 minutes. And this won't take more than 5 minutes. Yes. And this one you just cook it under. Some people deep fry it. I don't think you need to do all that. You can enjoy plantains. I put it in the oven and it's just as good. Let me turn this off. These are our beets that we're roasting in the oven. All right. Whew. I forgot about the plantains. All right, we're just gonna do a few just so that we can plate. And then you just cut them in on a bias, slices. And this, we'll leave it like that. All right. Woo-wee. Very good. All right. So the plantains are cooking, which will be fine. And the rice, almost done. All right, let's get our plates. Ooh. We're gonna form our rice in here. And again, I think I need to use that big old blue plate because there's a lot to go on that plate. We're gonna have the rice. We have the, let's see, I'm trying to think how we're gonna plate this today. Because you can, if you put the rice at the bottom and then you put, if you put the meat, then you have the cabbage. No, we're not gonna do like that. We're gonna put the rice in the middle and then we're gonna put everything around it. Maybe just put the chicken on top of the rice, yes. And then put everything on the side. Because remember, when you plate, you need a little bit of elevation. You used to fry your plantain, it can no longer, no, you're right? So you could just cook it like that on the stove, or I cook it, I just spray a pan and I put it in the oven, and then I press them because I like mine pressed, and then I put it back in the oven. A little bit of sea salt, you don't need sea salt if you don't want to do that, and then that's good. So I don't fry plantain anymore. All right, so we know our, woo, look how beautiful, beautiful beets, yeah? So I'm gonna put this in the fridge so you cool off just a second. I don't want to burn myself. There is no glory in burning your hands. Ooh, look at our rice. Looks yummy. So we can take this out. And also, I need to find that pepper. My rice is a little pasty. I don't like it, but I'm cooking for Americans, so they don't like their rice too crunchy. So I'm good. All right, let's taste it. It's about the taste, right? Did I put the butter on the rice? I don't remember. Can you fix me a plate? Yes. Okay. All right. So now we have our plantains. Some people like the really ripe one. I don't. But if you like the really ripe ones, you can. And of course, when you finish here, you're going to drop them on a piece of paper towel so it can soak up any extra oil, right? Because we don't need extra oil. We need some oil, like I said, but we don't need to overdo it. No bueno. All right. Now let's check the avocado and see what it looks like. You know, it's a surprise every time we cut into one. Avocado, aguacate. And you know, when I bought it, I was like, no para hoy, no para mañana, no para el domingo. Surprise, surprise. Surprise. Well, let's pray it's a good one. That looks pretty good. Yeah. All right. I paid $2 for this one. Oh wow, it tastes really good. And I've seen some things on social media with aguacates are like this big. You know, I would love to live on a farm. I just don't like the critters, snakes and stuff. But I would enjoy all the rest of it, because I follow people who raising chickens and stuff like that. I love that. I remember Greta saying that avocado is huge. Well, we don't use so much of the haws here. We use this kind of, in the Caribbean. Okay. So aguacate is good. I need to check the tomatoes. Ooh, plantains are looking good. So yeah, we're not deep frying the plantain, but they're out being cooked in oil. So let's not pretend that they're not. But we're gonna put a plate here, a paper towel ready for them. And we'll start with the rice. Paper towel for the plantain. Alright. Alright, I think we should be good here with the rice. We can take the rice, turn it off. We are going to mold it. If you're vegan, you don't have to put the butter, of course. But if you're vegetarian, like a friend of ours here, you can eat this, and you can leave it in your fridge. You can partition it, right? And we are going to. We got our rice. This sister gifted me these two little things, and she has no idea how grateful I am because I've been looking for a molder. When I got here, couldn't find anything, of course, but and then even ramekins I had a hard time finding. And I had all my I had my French onion soup, handle dish that I ordered online with the handle. These things hurt, because when you're a cook and you got your stuff and then you move and you can't find your stuff, that's hard, okay? But I don't whine about it because I chose to come. But I didn't know I wasn't going to be able to find it for my stuff, and I have not ordered one thing from Amazon since I've been here, or Temu, whatever. Not one thing. All right. So now we are going to add our cabbage. And again, I don't know if I need to squash it with the meat. I don't want to squash this pretty. So I think I'm just going to make the stuff closer to the rice so it doesn't go all over the plate. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. All right. Okay, that's good. Yes. And I'll use some of the plantain as decoration for the top. So we That one, that's good. Let it drain on the paper towel. This one. Okay. All right. And the aguacate, I need to get some lime juice ready for it. Well, let's put the chicken on. So, let's see which pieces of the chicken we need to put on here. We're going to put chicken here, chicken here. Maybe a drumstick. Not that. Where are the drumsticks? Ooh. Put my head in there. That's a drumstick. And well, I'm not a white meat kind of person. Okay. Maybe like so. Okay, yeah. So we put it up a little bit, okay? And then we're gonna put maybe some of that, okay? And we're gonna get a little bit of gravy. What are you beeping about? All right. Ooh, I burned one of them. Maybe that's what was beeping. All right. So we got 4 plantains. 5. This one is good too. Ooh, guess this one is burnt a bit, but all right. And we need a little bit of gravy to put over the chicken. But you don't want your food to be too dry, right? All right. We're gonna put a little sauce over the chicken. You know, when I grew up, they put sauce over the rice. But I don't like to do that. Okay. All right. Aguacate. I got to do a little fancy thing with the aguacate. Aguacate, what are we going to do with you? We're going to let the aguacate kind of go up this way. I told you that's the only place I'm creative, right? Only in the kitchen. I can't draw, can't do anything like that. I think somebody was talking yesterday about craft, and I'm like, oh, don't invite me, sis. I do not do any crafts. It doesn't stay. All right, so what is plan B? If it's not gonna stay, I was gonna have it stand up on the side of the rice. But it says, no, I don't want to do that. So maybe like so. Like so. All right. And then we'll put the plantain on top. And here maybe I'll just like 2 little slices of tomatoes. Let me wash this tomato. Okay. Remember, you eat with your eyes. If you're serving something to someone, make sure it looks pretty, right? And let's put the plantain we don't want to cover the rice, so I think that's good. We don't want to do more. All right. Do I need anything else on the plate? Everything is centered and balanced. But if you have a little bit of gravy, if you want to put a little bit on your rice, you can. But like I said, I'm not a gravy person. How does it look? Huh? What do you ladies think? Panama is beautiful. I think the highest we go is like 85. Thank you, ladies. Please hit the like button. Yeah, I think everybody's hit it. Thank you so much. A labor of love. When you cook for people and they enjoy your food, that's what talks to my heart, right? Okay. Now this is my plate. Now I'm going to pack the rest of it for my friends. All right, ladies. Yes, Monica. If you were close, you'd get a plate, but all right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me and for sharing my passion. And I love sharing with you guys. So at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be live talking about this health insurance nightmare that some of us go through. Thank you, Greta. You know, when you come, I got to cook for you. How's the weather? I wasn't watching because I was cooking. Is it as bad as they thought? You're welcome, Carrie Valcourt. Is it crazy, the weather? Are you having like storm winds and stuff? Snowing. Do you have electricity? Are you staying warm? Greta, are you okay? In Maryland, I think. Okay, good. I'll tell you, when I moved to Florida, and I was like, oh my God. Oh, you got electric, good. We had a blizzard, and I'm like, okay, I am done, because cold used to make my knees hurt, and I was like, you know, I just don't want to do this anymore. So we moved to Florida. But when I first moved to Florida, you know, I'd be homesick, and I was like, oh my God. And then the first winter, it was 85. And I'm like, what kind of winter is this? It's not cold. There is no fireplace, no snow. So I went home. I was in the middle of winter. It was snowing, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I went back. I was never homesick again. Carrie, you coming to Panama? Wonderful, wonderful. But anyway, you know, we still eat good in Panama. That would not be a Panamanian type of dish. Panamanians, I think sometimes they'll do a rice like that, and they use a piece they call guandu, which doesn't equate to pigeon peas. That's what they call it though, but it's not exactly like what we think, right? Aguacate they eat, but not as much as I was hoping they would. Chicken, there is a lot of chicken. But they use chicken pollo asado, which is grilled chicken a lot, but they do make chicken in sauce. You know, and they have the yuca, they fry yuca, they boil yuca, they have all kind of corn dishes. They use some beef, but the beef here tends to be a little bit tough, but I don't eat beef, so I don't know. But anyway, so it's wonderful to have been with you, ladies and gents. Thank you so much. I knew it was going to be a little bit of a longer one because that's a lot of dishes. You close. Where are you, Miss Thomas? Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. I love to cook. For me, it's therapy. So, you know, when I cook, it makes me feel better. That's a time where I don't have to think about the craziness going around me. So it's a selfish thing, right? All right, ladies and gents, try to keep yourself uplifted because don't keep watching the news because it's going to make you depressed. A lot of crazy stuff going around, people, pregnant women being dragged, people, it is so sad. And those are the ones that we know of. I don't know, but you're welcome, Deborah. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow, Deborah. Have a good day, everyone. I'm going to sit here, enjoy, and relax until 4 o'clock. Yeah, on Sundays, I don't do much. Sometimes I used to go to a movie or I'd go to hop on a bus and check an area I haven't been to, but when I don't feel like it, I don't push it. When I feel like I need to just sit and relax and recharge, I do. So do the same thing. Listen to your body and then do what you know you need to do to recharge. You know, I did a 3-day fast this week. I was so proud of myself. I'm going to try to do a Monday and Tuesday every week to see. I don't know, you know. Sometimes I try and then I fail. I'm not hungry, I eat. You know, I'm not going to punish myself. I'm doing it so I can get back where I was because somehow it's easy to let myself go and start eating things I'm supposed to eat. You have another commitment. All right. See you guys. Have a good day. God bless you. I love you. Bye.